the 12th of February, Capcom released their regular publisher sale on Steam. You know how it is, Resident Evil games go on sale, the anticipation for the new Resident Evil game also starts to rise. However, this time it feels a bit different. It feels a bit like a crisis.
Yeah.
That's right peeps, it's me Dokx, and today we're going to be speculating why and how did Dino Crisis 1 and 2 make it to the Steam store after 27 years. Now first of all, for those of you who have no idea what Dino Crisis even is, I'll try to explain it briefly. I need you to imagine Resident Evil, okay? You got that in your head? Are you ready? Are you ready? Now let's remove the zombies and add dinosaurs! Yeah! Okay, but all jokes aside, Dino Crisis is in fact its own game and not some Resident Evil knockoff. Well, kinda. The first Dino Crisis game was published in 1999 following the success of Resident Evil back in 1996. It was Capcom's first attempt of creating something different apart from zombies, focusing on creating a new formula for a horror game based around dinosaurs and futuristic technology. The game was heavily influenced by films like Jurassic Park and Aliens, and that atmosphere is definitely felt throughout the game. It got solid reviews, with many critics noting that the gameplay was faster and more aggressive than what players experienced in Resident Evil. The dinosaurs could follow you between rooms and the environments were fully 3D, rather than like the pre-rendered backgrounds that we saw in Resident Evil, though I'll come back to that later. Of course, not everything was perfect. Some critics felt that the controls were clunky, the backtracing could become tedious, certain puzzles slowed down the pacing of the game, and the difficulty occasionally spiked. Despite those issues, the game remains a masterpiece, at least in my opinion, based on that one playthrough I did but didn't quite finish because I got angry at a goddamn puzzle. Great. But all of that was about to change, because just 1 year later, in the year 2000, Dino Crisis 2 was released. 1 year had passed since the third energy incident, you know, the tiny little accident, you know, where lava went kaboom and casually sent an entire city 3 million years ago into the past. No biggie, you know. So now we, along with the tactical reconnoitering, what the fuck, how do you say this? Tactical reconnoitering, the tactical reconnoitering, fuck's sakes, the tactical reconnoitering and acquisition team are tasked to go back in time to recover the third energy's research data and maybe rescue some survivors if we got the time.
Yes, I said it correctly. Let's go.
And you might think that Capcom was like, okay, the first game was slow but successful. We're just gonna have to make another one, right? Hell no, we're going balls deep, man. Let's make a dinosaur action shooter with an XP system and multiple weapons. Oh yeah. So instead of sticking to the script, Capcom decided to stray away from the first Dino Crisis entirely and focus on doing everything else that wasn't in the first game. And as a result, the map was bigger, we got 2 playable characters instead of 1, each of them equipped with their corresponding sidearm which could help them move through the environment. The pacing was way faster, you can now beat the game in about 5 to 6 hours, which is about 1 to 2 hours faster than the first game. And remember when I said that we will come back to the pre-rendered backgrounds? Well yeah, we came back, and to be honest, I like the pre-rendered backgrounds way more, just because the camera doesn't move around and the textures are higher quality. Now when we look at the reviews, they were mostly positive. Critics loved the action full gameplay as well as the new extinction point system together with the combo mechanics. However, some people felt like it lost that survival horror aspect from the first Dino Crisis, and I don't blame them. The puzzles were easier, the design was simpler, and it wasn't as stressful. But after beating Dino Crisis 2 for like the 60th time, I think it's still awesome. It has action, it has puzzles, it has lore which I still don't fully understand, and most importantly, it has David. Okay, I think I explained everything about the franchise.
Wait, Dokx, you forgot Dino Crisis 3.
If we do not talk about that game, then that's not a part of the franchise, just delete.
Now, why did Capcom take so long to release the games to Steam? Well, I don't know, don't ask me. I don't work at Capcom. Okay, but in all seriousness, we can make some guesses. For one, these games were originally built for the PS1 and early Windows systems, so the code was ancient and probably needed some work to get it running smoothly on modern PCs. Then there was the music and sound situation. The official soundtracks made for Dino Crisis were fully owned by Capcom, but it's possible that some sound effects and other audio libraries might have needed extra licensing clearance for the digital release. We don't know for sure. Of course, by this point, plenty of fans had already found ways to play the games throughout using emulators, buying hard copies, or sailing the 7 seas. So these games weren't exactly lost, they just weren't officially accessible on modern systems. On top of that, Capcom had bigger franchises to focus on, such as Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter. It's also possible that getting these games running smoothly for modern PCs could have taken time, money, and a lot of testing, which could explain why they didn't hit Steam until now, 27 years. Then again, maybe they just uploaded the whole code to ChatGPT and asked it to update it to newer standards, who knows? However, it's also worth mentioning that in 2024 Capcom Super Elections, fans were asked for which game they wanted to see a remake, and to a surprise, Dino Crisis was one of the top choices. And a year later, on January 29, 2025, Dino Crisis was released on GOG in a partnership with Capcom as a part of GOG's game preservation program, which aims to ensure that classic games remain playable on modern and future systems. Then 2 months later, on March 4, 2025, Capcom renewed the Dino Crisis trademark, which sparked rumors of a potential remake coming to the series, Whether or not we get a remake, I'm not sure, but I personally love one. It would be really cool to see what Capcom would come up with, considering the already existing fan remakes that try to transfer that old feel to a new generation of hardware. And now we reach today. Dino Crisis 1 and 2 has been released on Steam with 50% off as I'm making this video, so if you enjoy playing Dino Crisis whilst you were a kid, or just crave that classic game feeling, go play, have fun, I don't know. But that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed or at least learned something new. And hey, if you found this interesting, why not like the video? Don't worry, I'm not asking you to subscribe. I'm asking you to like the video! Please like the video! Please!